We have an update on the city of Reno right from the source. Our Michael Thomas is standing by with the mayor at the Emergency Operations Center. Michael?
Yes, Brent, I am joined by Mayor Jeff Griffin. And Jeff, you were here earlier this morning talking with our reporter Tim Robinson live and about the damage that was coming up and how grim things looked. You've had a chance to spend part of the day in the air and hear the reports in now. How have things changed?
Well, actually, we've got a greatly improved situation. The precipitation has stopped here in the valley floor, and the snow level has really lowered. I believe it's probably below 6,000 feet. That's caused the precipitation upstream to drop off, and basically the water is receding. Not as fast as we would like, but on balance, unless we have something unexpected come up, we look for the water to continue to recede, and hopefully it'll be back in its bank sometime tomorrow afternoon.
You had a chance to fly over the area as well as see some of the damage from the surface streets. Widespread is the only way you can describe it around the whole corridor, not only in Reno, but all the way to Sparks. Just amazing pictures of destruction. Can you explain what it was like to see it firsthand?
Well, particularly it's actually more profound, I guess, when you see it from the air, but it's really scary when you see it from the ground. You get up close to almost any part of the river there, and large debris, big pieces of trees are going down, and you really get a chance to see Mother Nature up close. The damage, the area that's been inundated, very widespread, particularly Miraloma, that area, Rosewood Lakes area, and Sparks has been hard hit as well. I think actually we've been fairly fortunate by comparison to past events in the downtown area. I think some areas, to the west of the city have been hard hit as well, but it's improving right now.
The other thing, too, coming up is, of course, you're talking about the work that needs to be done as far as cleanup work, and I know we're still in a crisis mode as far as getting supplies in, doing things as well. But what's going to be the next couple of days to happen? I know you're probably already thinking about that. You're always thinking ahead.
Well, yeah, public safety is really the number one concern. One of the things we're going to be doing is taking all of the city crews, and that includes county, city of Sparks as well, checking the structural integrity of buildings as the waters recede, make sure the structures, bridges, and so forth are safe before we allow the citizens back in. That's going to be the first order of business, and then probably beginning over the weekend we'll start to assess the damage. But at first we're going to make sure that the citizens are safe. So it'll be a very, very busy couple of 3 or 4 days here, assuming that the rain continues not to be a problem for us.
Also, real quickly, the City Hall today, Reno City Hall, shut down about 2 o'clock, sending employees home. Is there any word yet? Have you made a decision about what employees should do tomorrow about reporting to work?
Speaking just for myself, they should report to work. Again, we only let non-essential people go at 2 in the afternoon, and we thought that was appropriate, but we would expect all of our employees to show up tomorrow. This is what the city is for, and we try to provide a high level of service to the citizens, and I think they come to expect it, and we've got an outstanding group of people here in the city of Reno, as well as the county and city of Sparks, and I know all of our troops will be on hand.
Quite a much more optimistic picture, though, than what we were talking about this morning.
Yeah, it looked pretty grim this morning, and I think we were blessed. Literally what happened is the rains moved to the southeast and spared us, I think, probably at the expense of Carson Valley, Carson City, Douglas County area. But we escaped that continued precipitation, and then fortunately it got cold. So we've really been blessed here, and we're really going to scramble like crazy over the weekend to clean up after this.
Mayor Jeff Griffin, thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks.
Okay. Also, one other quick word here we wanted to get out. We've been talking about the importance of sandbags. We have some good news to report on that. There were no sandbags available. Gosh, it's been almost 3 hours, I would say, since we ran out of sandbags in our area. And the latest word, we have 5,500 sandbags that are coming here as we speak. It'll be at 3 locations. We'll give you those within the half hour, and those 3 locations are 911 Parr Boulevard, the Reno Corporation Yard, and 1640 East Commercial Road. Now we're joined by Mary Henderson, who's been running things here for Washoe County. The good news on sandbags is what?
Good news on sandbags is that the C-130 from McClellan Air Force Base has landed, and we do have sandbags that are now going to be deployed out to those 3 locations. Again, we urge the public to go straight to those locations. Let's not tie up phones. Don't try to find them in an airport. Go straight to those 3 locations, and that's approximately 500,000 sandbags that we have, so that's great news.
Okay. Mary, thank you very much.
You bet.
Okay, and again, those locations, 911 Parr Boulevard, that is the Washoe County Sheriff's Office, the Reno Corporation Yard, which is at 1650 East Commercial Row, and the final location is on Gandolfo Arena in Sparks, and that is on Gandolfo Drive off of Vista, south of Prater, and that is near the Sparks GM parts plant. Again, good news, great news, 500,000 sandbags will be on their way there, so if you need sandbags, just go straight to those locations. They will be handing them out there, and they will be available for you, and we'll keep keep you up to date as any new information comes in. But back to the studio.
Well, a lot of people are going to be glad to hear about those.
That's right. It is good to have sandbags back. It may even be better that the water is receding, and that cuts down on the need for them quite a bit.
It does. And we have much more to tell you about. We'll be here for about another hour, so stay with us.
We'll be right back.
Find the lowest prices of the year right now at Evco Interior's biggest sale. Save up to 20% on carpet, pad, and installation on Lee's.
Inches deep, and it is very dangerous to walk in. And that is why Reno police officers have come by this area. I know several of the other bridges have police tape strewn across like this because they just don't want people to get anywhere near the mud areas. It is very dangerous to walk in. In fact, they say that it closes in around your shoe and you almost get stuck. It's like walking in a deep river, trying to pull your feet out of the muck of a river. That's exactly what we're experiencing at this time. Now, they also have reports of people going up as close as they can to the river, trying to look out over the water, and they are very worried that somebody will be swept away because that water is still moving incredibly fast along the river corridor. You need to stay away because any emergency that a rescue team would have to deal with is 10 times harder in the darkness. So they say, please stay away from the river. Also, they have reports of business owners with businesses along the river corridor. They're going in trying to get into their establishments to see the damage. Please do not do that. They say that all the mud that we're seeing here will assuredly, if you had flooding, be in your business as well as maybe broken glass or toppled over chairs that you may not see. So it's extremely hazardous, and they don't want to have to go into any buildings that they don't know what it's like inside to rescue somebody. So you really want to steer clear of this area. Now, all throughout the whole day, we've been saying, please stay home. We have great pictures to show you. You don't need to leave your house. But of course, people want to see, and many people came down to the river corridor where I have been all day, and they've been very respectful, and that was kind of fun. I mean, people really enjoyed seeing the waters as they were coming higher and higher on the different streets. But take my word for it, at this point, there is nothing interesting to see right now. It is just all mud and yuck. And it's just telling that in the future, these are pretty much the stories I think we're going to be doing for the next month or so, is cleaning up yards and houses and businesses, because as the waters receded, they surely everywhere left all of this mud and yuck. Now, what you're seeing behind me as well, they're pumping out water from the county courthouse. There's about 10 feet of water in the basement area. Now, there is a garage down there, but also some very expensive equipment is down there that has to do with the operations of the building, and they say that will more than likely have extensive damage. So
the driving force in this whole thing, Brent, and you live with the good and the bad, and now we're finally getting some good news on the weather. First of all, though, I want to take a quick peek at the cloud cam on top of our studios here. We've been showing floodwaters for a long time with our live cloud cam shot here. It's getting tough to talk after 15 hours. Looking out toward downtown, notice half the skyline there is darkened. You look at Harrah's and some of the other casinos, particularly on the east side of Virginia Street, they are dark with just emergency power on. Of course, back behind there, you can see that we have a little bit more. A few of the casinos on the other side do appear to be open with power generating and everything. We keep getting calls about the roads, and at last report, I have a couple of changes to report to you, most of them actually on the good side. Since we talked last, let me tell you what has not changed. Interstate 80 is still closed in all directions, basically just shy of the state line on the other side of town there as you head out toward California. Good news at this point to report is I just called the road line, and Interstate 80 going the other direction has actually opened up at this point. It sounds like they have closed off, have pushed off all of the mudslides on that. Keep in mind, on any situation like this, you can clear off a mudslide. The hills are still very unstable. It is very possible you can get another mudslide 10, 15, 20 minutes on down the line. So it doesn't mean we've seen the last of them. But at least Interstate 80 is open at this time. The bad side at this point is that they had dropped chain or snow tire requirements on Highway 50 over Spooner Summit. They have now put those back on. There are still some snow showers up there that are slowly decreasing, but the mountains are going to continue to see a little bit more precipitation out of this last little storm system. Another good news here, though, is they have since dropped the chain or snow tire requirements over Donner Summit on Interstate 80. It's very tough, though, to get to that point from Reno. You can't go to the north because Highway 70 is closed across before you get to Quincy. You still have a tough time getting to Carson City. The only even halfway feasible way that I can see, if you don't want to go all the way around to Fernley and to Silver Springs over there, is to possibly go through Virginia City and then on down. But if you can get to there and go up Spooner Summit, you will have a clear sail, at least from Truckee, over to Donner Summit. But expect a very long time, and a lot of people may just want to wait out and take it a little easier tomorrow when hopefully they'll get Interstate 80 opened up. I've been talking about the system working our way in here, and it's very easy to look this way and to miss what's coming around back behind you. I've had some viewers call and saying, hey, what is that big mass of clouds coming in behind here? It looks fairly impressive and it looks a little bit scary. Let me tell you the good news in terms of this. A lot of this is mid and high level clouds. It's not the deep-rooted moisture that we've seen before. It doesn't mean that this could not produce some showers over here over the next couple of days, and it is coming on fairly quickly. What I think is going to happen, however, is that this is going to get caught up in the flow and start to push down a little bit further to the south, just like this last system did. As we bring the colder air in here, if it does kick off some showers, it will probably be cold enough that we're going to drop our snow levels almost down to the valley floor here as we go on into the next couple of days. For the short term here, some of those showers left over up at the Lake Tahoe area and some of those rain showers are now turning back to snow showers, particularly on the north side of the lake as we bring in some more cool air. We still have scattered isolated showers up here in the northern part of the Sacramento Valley, and they may be drifting through off and on throughout the night, but again, they're much colder with the snow levels dropping down below lake level as the night progresses. The heaviest rain right now and snow is to the south of us and still is pouring some liquid, unwanted liquid, quite frankly, into the Walker River Basin and the very headwaters of the Carson River Basin. Those are the two systems right now that have not seen their worst troubles, as opposed to the upper reaches of the Truckee River, where I think we are certainly on the mend. Now, downriver from us in the Truckee, you folks down there past Tracy, the Wadsworth, Nixon area, you are still going to have perhaps some rising water as we still flush this big slug of water all the way down there. It's going to take longer for you to see some improvement there. The extended forecast is very good news. Maybe a few showers early tomorrow morning, partly cloudy skies by the afternoon, and then cooling temperatures. The high temperature tomorrow actually probably not quite 50 degrees, probably in the upper 40s. Cooler on Saturday, Sunday, Monday. We may have high temperatures only in the 30s by the time we reach the end of the weekend, and very cold overnight low temperatures, which if we can just freeze up some of that water in the snowpack that's left up there, which by the way is still very healthy. We've had calls about people worried about losing all the water that we gained here. We still have 166% of average snowpack up in the mountain areas around the Lake Tahoe Basin. So there's still good news from the snowpack standpoint, and there's no reason to think, Jennifer, that we can't add to it, perhaps in a more normal fashion here as we head on in toward the middle part of the month of January. I don't really want to repeat the first couple of days of it if we can at all avoid it.
That's right. Okay, thank you, Mike.
You bet.
Well, be sure to get your pen and pencil ready, because in just a few moments we're going to give you some important phone numbers and some important information. But first we want to talk to John Mercer, who's standing by in Sparks with the latest in Sparks. John?
Well, right now, Jennifer, the Sparks Fire Department is they're making the rounds here at the Park Vista Apartments, trying to check on everyone, make sure that everyone is all right. As you can imagine, it's been a very long night. Last night and a long day for emergency personnel, but one thing that they did tell me is what's made it all worth it is that everyone is coming together to help out, neighbor to neighbor, resident to resident. People who don't even know each other are helping out. Joining us now here is Evie Randolph. Evie, who is a tenant here at the Park Vista Apartments. Evie, you've seen it all day. Tell us, describe to us what it was like this morning and what it's like right now.
Well, it wasn't this bad flooded this morning, and it's really gotten higher and higher and higher, and it's still high. And to me, it's going higher. It's crazy.
You've only lived here a year now, so have you ever seen anything like this in your life?
Not here, no. I lived in Lake Elsinore, and they had a flood up there, but this is worse, I think.
Now, a lot of people I know have been having a hard time getting around because if you have been able to see it, all the video behind us, this apartment complex is basically waterlogged. Has it been difficult for your neighbors to try and get around in some cars? Anyone who doesn't have a Jeep or a truck?
Yep. My friend just come back from the hospital, and he had to take the motorhome out to get her in here.
One nice thing, though, is I know that to be at the top of the apartment complex, people have been handing out sandbags. People have been really working together. I talked about the Sparks Fire Department saying how everybody's really pulled together. Does that make you kind of feel good about humanity and about people in general?
Oh, yes. If everybody pulled together and helped, that we'll get through this. It might take a while, but we'll get through it.
And on that note, I appreciate you joining us, Evie, and thanks for the coffee that you've been sharing with us as well. It's been an incredible day here in Sparks, one of the hardest hit areas, as you can tell from the video we've been showing you during the day. The industrial complex, of course, many businesses there. People have been coming up to me asking if they're going to be open tomorrow. At this point, we do not know. Maybe some of the folks back at the station can get some calls from people in the industrial area around Spice Island Drive and other places, because it's just been most everything underwater around there. And of course, here at the Park Vista Apartments at Prater and Sparks Boulevard. A nightmare for a lot of people, but again, the cooperation has been incredible. Let's send it back to you guys in the studio.
All right, thank you, John. Well, we told you before to try to get a pencil and paper so we can give you some important numbers. So here we go with some Reno emergency numbers. The first one is emergency phone numbers in Reno, 328-3782 or 328-3783.
And Sparks, the same information, and this is important in case you're interested in evacuations or other emergency information, 353-2242.
And in Carson City, you can call 887-2210.
In Douglas County, 782-9900.
Now we've got one from Sierra Pacific. If you need to call Sierra Pacific, you have a power outage or something else, that number is 689-4100.
And the good thing that we've heard from Sierra Pacific is that there have been very few power outages. The problems that we had really came before the flooding, and that came from all the wind. Fortunately, Sierra Pacific linemen had a chance to really get things back in shape, and they've been doing much better. I think actually the phone company had a harder time this time around, and even they've been able to keep the service up pretty well. Evacuation centers, in case you're interested in where some of your friends may have gone, or if you still have a need to evacuate: McQueen High School, Swope Middle School, Reed High School, and Pine Middle School.
And we've got some numbers for you in Carson City. The Carson City Community Center at 851 East Williams.
In Dayton, and we apologize because we've gone back and forth. Oh, we have a boil order. The residents of Park Tower Apartments, and we've seen what they've been going through all evening. Or actually for the past day or so, they've been basically surrounded by water, and that has contaminated their water system. So they are under a boil order to boil all their water before they drink it.
And of course, we'll let you know when that ends.
You know, another thing, John Mercer was talking about the industrial park area out in Sparks before. I have a neighbor who works for one of the plumbing companies in that area.
Have you tried